I think it's a very altruistic industry. I think at the end of the day, what we do is will enhance people's life, extend people's life, or the ultimate goal, which is cure disease as well. And I think that's a very appealing aspect of our industry, especially taking manufacturing into a place that will really make a big difference for people. And I think it's very exciting. The other thing is, it's an industry is always at the edge of new discoveries. We're always participating on things that will make a difference. And I think everyone from our employees on the sites all the way to the executive of the company, we enjoy participating on that process. I think it's a very interesting trend driven by a couple of different factors. Number one, the pressure will continue on the industry for cost reduction. Right now, it costs about $2.5 billion to bring a new product to the market. And that provides tremendous pressure to the industry, in addition to the fact of the social impact of that cost and finding ways to make medicines more reachable, attractive, reachable for people. So I think based on that and based on the fact that it's very difficult to predict the success of these products, companies are relying more and more on companies like Patheon to help them with not only bring these products faster to the market, but also help them with the uncertainty of how big or how small the product could be. The forecast accuracy is always a challenge. And I think the combination of those factors, among others, are always going to be pushing the industry into more outsourcing. It just makes a lot of sense in that aspect. Well, we recently conducted a study, and the data is quite evident that it's a prevalent issue. Almost more than half of the products miss their forecast, and sometimes it could be on the high side, on the low side. It's a significant issue. And when you think about that, for example, in the case of being late or not being right, it can cost you about $15 million a day on missing your forecast. It's quite significant, right? So I think there's two ways to approaching this. You can try to be very sophisticated on your forecasting systems, which we all know there's many forecasting tools there. There's many variables that you can incorporate on forecasting, but still you're going to have a margin of error. Or then you follow what we're trying to do with our customers, which is provide different options by which they can react to variability in the forecast and make sure that the product is delivered on time, the product is available for the customers, and also allow them the flexibility they need to react to different market conditions. So we have developed about 4 different concepts just to help them make those choices. There's different components to flexible manufacturing, right? Number one, you have to have the global footprint. You have to have a commitment to continuous improvement and operational excellence. You have to have the technical competencies and the know-how to make sure that not only you can transfer those products or launch those products on time, but you can really sustain and maintain the supply chain as you move forward. And also different commercial structures. Like, for example, we have a concept that you can reserve some capacity all the way that we can build for purpose area inside of our operations. So it depends on what is the circumstance that you're following your product and how innovative, is it new to the market, is it an additional area to the market, how much of your internal capacity is there. We take into consideration all these different elements, and then we try to come up with a solution that will meet the need. But companies that are capable of meeting those criteria are the companies that are making the difference for the industry in regards to the variability of the forecast and the challenges it represents. The next frontier on this conversation is to completely outsource a full supply chain. And I'm very pleased to say I don't think we're far away from that happening. That companies will come to us in Patheon and say, here's my small molecule manufacturing and supply chain. Why don't you take it over and make sure that we continue to bring innovation, bring new products, but Patheon brings the expertise to manage and drive that network. So it's a refreshing, we are leading the industry in those conversations. We are leading the industry also in bringing this to be a reality, which many industries have done this in the past. If you think about the electronics industry, they did that transition probably 10, 15 years ago. So it's about time for the pharmaceutical industry to reach those areas now. Couple of things. Number one, I think outsourcing will make medicines available to people faster. I think outsourcing will make medicines available to people at lower cost. I think outsourcing really helps provide a global footprint that will enable having access globally to medicines that maybe they're not available today in every market. I think the flexibility of having the presence with companies like Patheon on a global basis will give access to people. So I think at the end of the day, it will impact the patient in that sense, making them faster, easier, better, and more accessible for patients as we move forward.